Good morning, Year 3. Today we're going to continue learning to tell the time to the nearest minute. We're going to be doing that using the 24-hour clock today. So let's get started. Here's our Discover problem. Part A asks us, were the woodpecker and the fox seen in the morning or the afternoon? And Part B says, the badger was spotted in the evening. What time should the digital clock show? It's really important here to look at the digital and the analog clocks to find your answers. Pause the video now, go and have a go, and then come back to the video in a minute to go through the answers together. Let's go through the answers to Part A. So what we need to know here is that the 24-hour clock splits the day into 24 hours from 00, 12 a.m, so this is midnight, until 23:59 or 11:59 p.m. This is just before midnight the following, that same day. This shows if a time is before or after midday without using AM and PM. AM times are written very much the same. So 6:25 a.m. is written as 06:25. Notice that there is a 0 at the start, and we don't need the AM here because it already tells us that this is an AM time because we've got a time that comes before 12. PM times are slightly different. 4:45 p.m. is written as 16:45. This is because when we got to 12 o'clock midday, instead of starting again at 1 p.m, we just carried on. It shows you on this little clock here. So once we got to 12, we carried on and went to 13 and then 14 hours. So this means it is 14 hours past midnight. We'll go through a trick to work that out in a little bit. So 4:45 p.m. is written as 16:45. Notice that in both examples, the minutes do not change. It is just how we show the hour. So over here he's saying, I have noticed that all 24-hour clock times have 4 digits. So some numbers have zeros in front of them. Like I showed you before, if the hour is less than 10, we're going to just put a placeholder 0 in that box. So 07:32 is the same as 7:32 a.m. So the woodpecker was seen in the morning. The little girl over here says, I have spotted something too. I can work out the 24-hour clock by adding 12 hours onto the times from 1 p.m. onwards. So 13:24 is the same as 1:24 p.m. The fox was seen in the afternoon. Moving on to Part B, the analog clock showed us that the badger was spotted at 10:30, and we know that he was spotted at 10:30 in the evening. This means that it would be a PM time, so the badger would have been spotted at 10:30 p.m. To convert this time to a 24-hour time, we would show it as 22:30. Well done if you got those correct. If not, we're going to talk through this a little bit more, and then you can have a go as part of our Think Together examples. Okay, so to convert the time from a PM time to a 24-hour time, it's really simple. We add 12, because when we've got into the PM, it means that the clock has already gone round. I'll show you on my clock here. The hour hand has already moved around from the 12, past the 12 again, and we're counting on from 12. So 1300 hours, 1400 hours, 1500 hours, and so on. So the cheapest way of doing this is to just add 12 onto your hours. So here I've got 2:26 p.m. 2 add 12 makes 14. The minutes stay exactly the same, so the 24-hour time will be 14:26. Here's another one, 8:43 p.m. I'm just going to take the hour time, the 8, I'm going to add 12 to make 20. So the 24-hour time will be 20:43. The minutes stay the same, the hours change. If I want to go backwards, so converting a 24-hour time, like 21:05, into a PM time, I do the inverse. And the inverse of add is subtract. So I'm going to do a subtraction, and I'm going to subtract 12. So 21 take away 12 leaves 9. So 21:05 is 9:05 p.m. Here's another one. 15:21, those minutes stay the same. We're just going to subtract 12 from the hours, which gives us 3. So 15:21 is the same as 3:21 p.m. This only applies to p.m. times once we have gone past 12 o'clock midday. For the a.m. times like we spoke about on the previous slide, you just put a 0 in front of the hour because there needs to be 4 digits in a 24-hour time. When you're writing 24-hour times, you don't need to write the a.m. and the p.m. because that should be obvious whether from the time itself, from the number of hours, whether it would have gone past 12. Let's have a go at doing this as part of our Think Together problems. So question 1 says, Mo spots a robin at 4:46 p.m. How should he write this as a 24-hour time? So remember my sneaky cheat from the last slide. We're adding 12 onto the hours to change a p.m. time to the 24-hour clock time. Have a go, pause the video now, have a go at using these sentences at the bottom to help you. So let's get going. 4 add 12 is 16. We don't change the minutes at all when we're converting to a 24-hour time. So 4:46 p.m. is 16:46. Well done if you got that one correct. Let's have a go at completing this table now. I want you to watch out really carefully because there is an AM time in there. Remember what I said, we don't need to change the hours for an AM time because it is before 12. Have a go at converting each of these times into 24-hour times and then come back to the video to talk through it together. All right, so the blackbird was seen at 9:16 a.m. Because this is an AM time, we don't need to add 12 on. We do, however, need to put a 0 in front of that 9 so that we have got 4 digits as our 24-hour time. I haven't written the AM here because it's not necessary. Times that are 12 or less, so where the hours are 12 or less, means that it is AM and in the morning. Greater than 12 means it is in the afternoon or evening. The bat was seen at 9:50 p.m. So this one does need converting. We don't need to copy the p.m. across. We will keep the 50 for the 15 minutes the same, but 9 at 12 hours is 21:50. Finally, the owl was seen at 11:15 p.m. Again, we need to convert this one to 24-hour time by adding 12 onto the hours. 11 add 12 is 23, so the time will be 23:15. A lot of digital clocks use the 24-hour time. I bet you've got one in your house, maybe on your oven or microwave. Quite often phone clocks also show the 24-hour time. Have a look at some 24-hour times this afternoon or this evening, and maybe compare them to the analog times that you looked at last lesson. Some of you will be ready to go into your green Power Maths books now. Today you are working on page 53 in that book, and the title is Telling the Time to the Nearest Minute number 3. Have a really good go at solving those problems, and don't forget to have a look at the reflect on page 55. It is an explain how you know question for the reflect today, and I really want you to have a good go at explaining what you know using full sentences and lots of the vocab that you have learned during the lesson. Good luck. If you'd like a challenge, let's go on to that now. So our challenge question today says only one person correct. Who is it and why? So I don't just want you to tell me who's correct, but I want to know why. Use your reasoning and explanation skills to do this. Please pause the video now and have a go at working this out by yourself, and then come back to the video in a minute so that we can go through the answers together. Okay, let's start off by looking at Richard. Richard says, to change this time into a 24-hour clock time, I need to add 12 to make it 24:15. Now, I know that there are only 24 hours in one day. And if I had 24:15, this would mean it is 15 minutes past 24 hours. That's more than a whole day. That's not possible. So Richard is wrong. With this time, 12:15 p.m., it is absolutely fine staying the same for a 24-hour time. We don't need to add another 0 on to the start because it has already got 4 digits. And it has only got to the 12. We're counting on from 12, so we start changing when we get to the 1 p.m. We would have to change that to 13:15. But this one stays exactly the same, 12:15 p.m. Let's move on to Jamila next. She says, to change this time into a 24-hour clock time, I only need to remove the AM and write it as 8:25. She's so close here, but she would need to add a 0 onto the start so that we've got 4 digits, and it would say 0825. So she's incorrect as well. That leaves Ambika. Ambika says, my clock shows 2:50 in the afternoon as a 24-hour clock time. I have a slight issue with this. Whoever wrote this book put a PM on the end of this time, and as we know, in the 24-hour clock, we do not need to write PM or AM after the time. That's something that we do when we're showing time in the 12-hour format. So I will say that Ambika is right in that 14 take away 12 is 2. So it will show 2:50 in the afternoon, but on her 24-hour clock, it shouldn't show the PM. Okay, so Ambika was correct there. Well done if you got these correct. If not, have another go back and have a check of your work, please. Then you'll be ready to move on to page 53 in your Green Power Maths books. Good luck with those problems, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for some more maths. Bye.